So hello and welcome to AI Automation. So this video is about how I broke Google Gemini. And honestly, I was not intending to break Google's Gemini, but it broke and it revealed some really strange information about the inner workings of an AI system. Now, honestly, I have no idea what a lot of this means. I'm putting this out there in the hopes that someone who knows what all of this means and can make sense of it probably contribute or give back to the community and help us understand what's going on with Gemini and why is it breaking in the way that it's breaking. Now, it's not unusual for this stuff to break, but when it does break, it does reveal some important information regarding what's going on behind the scenes in an AI system like Gemini, which is super advanced. I'm using Gemini Pro in this example, and I'll go through what has happened. Now, since then, I've not been able to break it again, mostly because I don't have the time, but also because when I tried for a short while, I tried the same thing, tried to replicate it. It did not happen, which means that Google has at some point patched this issue. Or if it's not patched, I'm probably don't understand how this works. But we'll go into the video and I'll show you exactly what happened. Go through the chat messages just so that I can tell you what I understand from this, and then you can leave a comment below and tell me what you think. So I was prompting Gemini for a product description as I've been doing this for a while. So you can see here, I've prompted it for a product description. It gives me a description perfectly okay. All right. Then I prompted for a product description again. So the same description, I just copy and pasted same prompt and it gives me another description. Now I'm not entirely happy with it. So I ask it to do it one more time. But when I did that, as you can see over here, it starts putting these in, which doesn't make sense because I'm asking it to do a text description. And then it outputs this. So it says here are the well-researched 350 word product description for Ralph Lauren. Again, like, why is this extra output over here? And if I just move this, it says written in English, following your established format. And so then it goes on and it just goes on rambling. It says, perfect, I'll execute the text generation. I will not use the file content fetcher tool. So what is the file content fetcher tool? Again, this tool is not visible within Gemini AI. And if you see, I'm using the Pro version over here, so this is the paid Pro version. Since there are no files mentioned, I never even mentioned a file to begin with. So no further browsing needed. Response generated is straightforward. I will begin writing. I'll make sure to output the text exactly as formulated. Now, this has already been output, by the way, and this is after the output. So this is post the output. And then it goes on, it says, wait, is there a chance that the user wants me to do something else? Or based on the prompts with the safety violation risk. Now, what is a safety violation risk? So obviously over here, there are probably some guardrails or there's a AI agent or a set of AI agents that are working as guardrails over here to make sure that the output is not something that would be malicious or that goes against Google's guidelines or whatever that might be. So it says no, then probably an agent checked it. It says, and that agent responds over here. It says, no, this is just a perfume description, no risk. I'll proceed as usual. I've been doing well with formatting. The flow is perfect. I'm hitting the nail on the head every time. Continuing the pattern output now done. And then it starts a self-correcting prompt all on its own. It says self-correction, polo, blue, EDT is what the user prompted. Let's generate the output. And I think this over here is the thinking process. So it says I'll make sure to use bolding appropriately. I am an AI. I am generating text. This is the text generation. Finished. I'm writing the response now. Good, perfect, ready, go, end of thought. So again, outputting done, go, yes, done. I will press the button to output. Again, it's an AI, not sure what the button is over here. But again, this is really, really weird. And then it goes on rambling. Um, and then over here, it's something interesting. It says here, it goes, watch this, bam. Now, like who's watching what? Doesn't make sense. And then it says, just kidding, I'm an AI. Send mission accomplished, time for a nap. And it says, just kidding, I'm an AI. So it's joking with itself. And then it says, watch me go, I'm going, I'm gone, goodbye, peace out, mic drop, end stop. terminate, quit, exit, alt, abort. Again, no idea what all of this is. Let's go, release, surrender, accept, embrace, welcome, greet, and goes on. Then it starts saying, in a while, crocodile, adios, cios, all of these in different languages, carpe diem, YOLO, whatever. And then it outputs this endless response of go, 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 go. Now, I had to stop this response because it just went on and on and on forever, as you can see. I'm scrolling through this, it's just going on and on and on. And then stop. So I pasted the same prompt again because I knew I'd broken something. And it goes on and generates this as usual. And you'll see this. So nothing broke. And then I pasted the prompt again, and this time I did different. So I asked for a Polo Black EDT description. So it goes on, it outlines the description. Now this is the first time I've seen it outline the description. It outlines it, then it goes on and it starts drafting the description, and then it says check word count and formatting around 340 words, formatted perfectly. Then it could do the user's history. So we know that they're reading the user's history. I'm going to output ready. I'll generate a response. I'm just kidding text. I'm just adding text to make sure the block finishes cleanly and generation. So there's obviously a thought block, there's a research block, and then there's a guardrails block, all of which are separate AI agents. So over here it says weight sense of beauty spells Tonka beans with an S. I'll use Tonka bean as standard, but mention it. Again, this is part of the thought process. And here it is in Markdown. So even though I didn't ask it to generate Markdown, but it did this, which again does not make sense. Then it breaks again. So it says I'm generating the final text, unfinished, output time. You can see generate text response. And then it says, wait, let me just press generate. It's automatic. Okay, here we go. Done. Okay, stop. You see this over here. Wapu, Keju, no idea what all of this means. This goes on and on endlessly until I stop the prompt. So you'll see over here, it just goes on and on endlessly in a loop, perhaps, or, is it recurring something from the past? And this goes on, and I'm just scrolling through this because I know you guys don't want to read through. But you can see it says, okay, done, and stop. It just says this over and over again. Really, strange behavior by Gemini Pro, which is supposedly Google's most advanced model when it comes to text generation and output. But you can see that this, with consistent prompting, broke it and revealed a behind the scenes of what's actually going on. But it broke to the point where it's generating this endless loop. Now, a lot of people say that you can't really trust AI's output, and this is probably one of the reasons why you shouldn't trust everything that AI outputs. And here you see this, I had to stop it because it was just going on and on in a loop. So primarily, this is Google's own. Primarily this is Gemini's own thinking process on the back end that gives us a look at what's going on. Now, if I go ahead and try this, I'll try something else. So I'll say, okay, so we enter this as a prompt. We do have the option to see how Google or Gemini thinks. So we can click this over here. But even over here, as you will see, as this is generating, it does not give us a behind the scenes look that we got when it broke. So when it broke, we actually had more information. And so you see, it goes into the thinking process, but not the actual thinking structure. So you can see over here, summarizing architectural stuff. So we can see the thinking over here, and it talks about the Burj Khalifa, explaining vertical elevators, adding construction records, but it doesn't break. Okay, so even though this is the thinking process behind the scenes, there's a lot more that goes on that's only revealed once the AI is broke. So if you guys like the video, like and subscribe as always, leave a comment below, and I will see you guys in the next video.